Tonight, we have to have that tough conversation about John Harbaugh. Let's get into it. Ravens with Yolanda. Today's video, we are going to discuss each player that makes up the offensive line. Good evening, Flock family. Good evening. How is everyone doing tonight on this fantastic Friday evening? Where I am in the world, it is cold, okay? In this DMV, it is very chilly. So I said, let's cozy up together and just have a talk about some things, or primarily one major topic. And I will try to approach the subject with grace and with candor. And it's not a surprise. It is about our head coach, John Harbaugh, and the state of this team. So, and as the thumbnail implied, this is relaxed, chill, laid back, Purple Friday Q&A. If you have questions for me or something that you would like me to answer, please make sure to put Q: before you start your question. It just makes it easier for me to see it. And we're just going to have a good time tonight, but we're going to do it in such a way that we really accomplish kind of what's been weighing on my heart and my mind these last couple of days. You know, for me, I tell you often that I'm one that I have to kind of sit with something for a moment before I don't really do instant reactions, because sometimes I can get into my feelings and I might overreact. And I think sometimes calmer heads prevail. So that's where we are tonight. And that's kind of what I want to, just kind of talk about for a little bit. I see you in the chat. I see you, Agro Valley Farm. Thank you so much for joining. Just Tora, thank you. Yeah, she says she's here for it. And sure enough, we have Hendo from the Rogue Pod. We are talking about your head coach, Hendo. So I just want to make sure that we don't go down the path of indictment and Congress, and you know where else we can go from there. I see you, Frank Jackson. Thank you for joining. Jeff J. Oh, yes. Can you please mute me? No, I will not mute you. Feel free to share your thoughts. This is interactive Q&A. Listen, because after the loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm still feeling it, okay? And after that, I have questions. So sit back, relax, grab a beverage of choice, because we have to talk about the state of our team, as led by John Harbaugh. This is so good. This is apple cider vinegar tea, and it's just very good on a cold night. But let me start by saying I want to acknowledge that John Harbaugh has been the head coach for a long time, a very long time, many years of the Ravens. And in those years, in his tenure, it's now, I think, 17 years? In that tenure, he's had successes, and that's not lost on me. And I want to be fair. But here we are in 2024, and the last championship that was won or brought home to Baltimore under John Harbaugh was in 2012. And now, as Hendo will rightly say, we have to take a look at kind of how we got there. Like, how did we get to 12 years, no Super Bowl since 2012? How did we get there? Is it A, because we just haven't crafted a suitable roster to get the job done? Is it B, we haven't had the proper coaching staff to help propel the players? Well, let's kind of take a look at all of it. And I want to share my perspective, and I certainly, again, I welcome yours. And Anaya, thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for joining. It is a relaxed Friday night, and this is probably one of the more difficult live streams that I'll have to do, because I gave a lot of thought to it, but I'm here to speak the truth, at least what I believe is the truth, and just kind of share my truth with you. And I welcome yours as well. Anyone who's, into the Ravens and kind of has an opinion about where we are. But as I said before, the victories that we've had with John Harbaugh they're not forgotten. And I certainly appreciate what he has done as a head coach in bringing a Super Bowl to the Ravens, most recently in 2012. However, the first question that I asked a moment ago was, have we built a caliber roster to win a Super Bowl since 2012? And if we look at this year, and if we look at, I'm going to even just focus on last year, because I'm sure years before we can make the same type of argument. But last year, to me, you can't name a more qualified winning team than the Baltimore Ravens last year, especially by the time we got to the postseason. There were thoughts like, oh gosh, this is going to be one of those, first round exits. Or we're not first round because we had the bye, but we're going to be one and done. People were nervous. Like, I don't want to go against the Texans having that bye, having that week off. And, we're going to come out flat. We're going to come out stale. That was not it. And when we got to the AFC Championship, and we played the Chiefs, mind-boggling, completely baffling. We weren't the same team who we were leading up to that. Or if we were, we forgot who we were that night. So that kind of leads me to talk about where we are now and I'll share with you my thoughts of where we are. Can the Ravens make it to a Super Bowl this year with John Harbaugh as head coach? Most of us know that statistically, there's no head coach quarterback duo that's made it to a Super Bowl or won a Super Bowl that they've been paired together for more than 5 years. Well, we know that Lamar Jackson has been here now. He's been with the Ravens since 2018, since he was drafted. So we're well over that 5-year mark. And this pairing between Lamar and John Harbaugh is a little concerning. There was something that kind of stayed with me this week, ever since we came in second place, to the Steelers. Their head coach, Tomlin, said, and I know they lost last night, so this is not what we're here for, but it was said that a reporter asked Mike Tomlin, something about the Ravens, like, how do you feel about them? I don't remember if it was halftime or might have been right after the game. I don't remember, but it was something along the lines of, what are your thoughts about the Ravens? Like, what do you think? And his response was very humbling. He said, well, I know what the Ravens are going to do. They're going to do what they always do. And some might say, and I'm paraphrasing, some might say, wow, that's arrogant. That's cocky. Why would he say something like that? But truth be told, was he wrong? How did we fare against the Steelers? How do we fare against them usually? What's our record against the Steelers? So I think looking at it from that perspective is kind of nerve-wracking for me, because last year we saw a team that looked a lot more disciplined than this one. I'm not saying we were perfect last year. No, we had slow starts on offense. We had this, we had that. But when we finally started to get the offense to gel with the high-powered defense, we looked pretty good, right? But the inconsistency that we saw from the Texans game to the Chiefs game last year is an issue. And it was one that right now we still see the same thing. How is it that we can go from winning game after game after game, offense doing great, defense mediocre at best, but offense doing more than enough to get us to a win, despite all of our penalties, Despite all of the coaching blunders, despite all of the mismanagement of the time clock, we were still able to get it done. But yet we have a game like what we just had against the Steelers. That gives me concern for making it into the postseason and really not being a first round exit. Not being, like really being able to contend for a title this year. I don't know. And while I want to say, and I want to believe, yes, let's go team, let's do it. Come on, Ravens, we got this. We can do it. No problem. I really want to believe that. But I have to take a realistic look at where we are, and we are inconsistent. We are up and down, and John Harbaugh hasn't really addressed the things that I would have wanted to see addressed by now, leading up to almost 3 quarters into the season. So with that, I think in my mind, can we win? It would have to be, there's a yes, but I will give this kind of caveat. Yes, I think we can win, despite John Harbaugh. But what is it going to take, and what would that look like? Well, it would look like Lamar Jackson taking command of this team, more so the offense. And yes, we know that Lamar Jackson, since he signed his contract, they have said we're giving him the keys to the offense. We're allowing him, or we're giving him the latitude to audible at the line of scrimmage, and he's able to change up the play, and he's able to, based on the defense and formation that he sees, we're giving him that ability, and it's working for the most part. It is, but then how do we explain what just happened to us against the Steelers? And sure, we can all say, well, it's because it's a division rival. And we see that sometimes oftentimes when we play division rivals, AFC North is just a really difficult team. I'm in a difficult division, and it's hard, it's tough. Yes, all of that is true. But the Browns, 2-8 yesterday, were able to beat the Steelers. And we weren't. And we weren't even able to beat the Steelers the first time. The Browns the first time. So that gives me concern with how much Lamar can control and how much control he can be in order for us to be able to win despite John Harbaugh. Because it's kind of like having a job, right? You go to work and you are the employee and you have a boss. And you as the employee tell the boss, listen, I know that you're the boss and I know that I'm the subordinate, but I really don't know and trust and believe that you know what you're doing. So from here, I'll take it. I've got it from here. Usually doesn't work that way, right? So the same thing here would apply. I don't know what it would look like for Lamar Jackson to be able to tell Todd Monken and or John Harbaugh, listen, when we have a 2-point conversion with the game on the line, my decision is that we're going to we're going to bring Derrick Henry off the bench and we're going to put him on. We're going to put him on the field. I don't know that can happen. But that's what I would think would need to happen in order for us to really be able to overcome things that we continue to see that cause our team to, like Lamar said, shoot ourselves in the foot. So let me hear from you. Do you think that we can win a Super Bowl, knowing that we have been a very inconsistent team this year? Do you think we can win a Super Bowl this year? I'm not talking about next year, 2 years, et cetera. And I know that, EDC might sometimes say, hey, we're set up well for the future. Well, I'm asking about right now, this year. Do you think we can do it with John Harbaugh? And if you don't think we can, where does that leave us? Do we get excited about our team knowing that we just really don't have the manpower and what it takes to be a really good team this year? Because I certainly hope not. That would mean to me that we're wasting Lamar Jackson's years, his prime years, if that be the case, if that be true. So while you are sending your responses in, please make sure you take 2.5. Give me a thumbs up, hit the like button. And if you are new, welcome. Please subscribe, join the family, and talk Ravens with me, but that's kind of what's been on my mind. But I wanted to hear from you, just kind of come in here really quickly and share my thoughts. I see you, Equip Institute. I am going to put a link to the live stream that she just did on her channel, where she teaches and instructs and gives guidance ever so gently on how to become more organized, how to become better at getting your strategy, focusing on your goals, and being intentional about achieving them. I'm certainly going to put the link to that one because that one was good. You want to keep moving forward so that you can set yourself up for success in 2025. And if you struggle with time management or being effective, she is there for you. Just Tornado, I see you in here. Thank you so much. And I see you do have a question. And also I'm going to post the link in the description after this video to the live stream that I did with Just Tornado on her channel earlier this week. It was such a blessing to be able to share kind of my story, a little bit of who I am, a little bit of where I've come from and how I made it to these YouTube streets. So that was really, really fun. And it was an honor to be invited to be a guest on her channel. But I do see the first question coming in. Just Tornado wants to know, let me see if I can bring my little comment section up. I don't have my normal setup today, but I think we might be able to accommodate to make it a little fancy. Stay tuned. Woohoo, go me. I did it. All right, let's see. Let's see if it works. Nope, it does not. I did not think so, but that's okay. I'm going to, because tonight's going to be a short stream. I didn't set everything up and that's fine, but let me go back to my original scene. There we go. I'm just going to read the comments out loud, if that's okay. Just Tornado wants to know, question, is this the players just not pulling it together or coaching? Make it make sense, Yolanda. You got me invested now and I have questions. Ooh, yes. I have questions. I was going to make note of that in just a bit. So thank you for the question, Just Tornado. There is, in my opinion, enough blame to go around. This is not wholly on the coaches because you can have amazing coaches. You sure can. But if the players are not executing, then therein lies a problem. So I am not tonight in this particular live stream. I'm not dedicating this one to the players. I will come back on another Friday night or Saturday night Q&A, and I'll kind of do a part 2 to this, which is what do the players need to do, right, as a whole. So tonight I just wanted to focus on John Harbaugh, but that's an excellent question. And I think the answer is, at this point in my mind, it's both. It's both. But a lot of the self-sabotage that I see and a lot of the lack of discipline that I see from this team, that to me starts with the head coach. And so that's where I will leave that one for tonight. But we'll be back and we'll talk more on another Friday night about the players and what they need to do collectively in order to for us to be not just a team that is relevant in the regular season, and then we're like some misnomer in the postseason. So yeah. Danity, thank you for being here. She said, yes, welcome to the chat. Hit the like button, kings and queens. Do me that favor, would you? Please hit the like button for me. It really helps the channel a ton. I see you, Killer Cam. Bonjour to you. Yes, bonjour. Co-Air Multimedia, thank you for joining. It feels good. It's a feel-good Friday after the Pittsburgh loss. It is. That makes our loss to Pittsburgh just a little bit easier, right? It does make it a little bit easier. But one thing I want to make sure that I am doing as a fan of the team, I want to make sure that we're prepared because we have to face Pittsburgh again, right? Next month, in a few weeks, in December. Let me pull up the schedule. We play the Steelers again in just under 30 days. December 21st, on a Saturday, we play them. So we have a month to figure it out. We have a month because we sure didn't figure it out this past week. But yes, to your point, for now, for the moment, Co-Air Multimedia, it does kind of help it feel a little bit better. Equip Institute says, yes, a QB can't carry the whole team. Exactly. And that's where football is a team sport. And That is one thing that we must always remember as fans. It's not on one person, a loss. And sometimes, yes, it's tough to do that because you could be in a situation where you put your kicker in there, game on the line, and you hope and pray that your kicker, i.e. Justin Tucker, can make that game-winning field goal, and it doesn't happen. But is it truly the loss on him? Well, there's an argument on both sides. Yes, it is, and no, it's not. But what led up to us getting him in that position? That has to be addressed too. So I agree with you. Yeah, QB can't carry the whole team. And at this point, we need to make sure that our head coach is mentally prepared and has the mental fortitude to lead us to a Super Bowl right now, because our team is really good. We're not great, but we are really good. And the reason I think largely that we are so good is because of Lamar Jackson. It's because of Derrick Henry. And, it gave me, and I did the preview last night, so I'm not going to go over it again, previewing our upcoming game against the Chargers. I did have a lot of hope for our defense to kind of get right after seeing hey, they had a really good game, probably one of the best, maybe not, second to the Bills, one of the best games that they've had this season. We didn't win, but, nonetheless, it was still a very good showing by the defense. Killer Cam said, maybe not this year. Yeah, that kind of is painful, right? To hear that, to read it, to kind of accept it. But as a fan, I think we have to be, honest with with the state of our team. And it's tough, Killer Cam, it is. Because I had high hopes for this team going into this season. And I still do. But it's not easy. Not easy. Carlos, thanks for being here. New avatar. Don't know that I've seen you in the streams before, so welcome if this is your first time. Yeah, he said they're definitely wasting Lamar's time. I hope not. We have with us my mom. I'm not going to call her by her first name. I'm just going to say Mom. Thank you, Mom, for being here. Thank you for sunny Florida. Enjoy. It's not all that sunny today. But yeah, Killer Cam said Vrabel or, someone like Ben Johnson takes us over the hump. Those are good options. I've heard Belichick, I've heard, other names, but I just want to know what can we do now? I'm in a win now mode, right? So that's kind of where I am. Jeff J., the minute Buffalo lost, I knew we were in trouble. We need the team that beat the 49ers in order to win a Super Bowl. Harbs has never outwitted anybody. That's the issue that I'm having. We need a team like we had against the 49ers. And then fast forward a few weeks later against the Chiefs. Who were we? Were we that same team? It was the same players, same coaches. So how is it later in the regular season? I think it was like around Christmas time, sometime in December, we were able to steamroll over the 49ers. Fast forward a month or so later, when we play in the AFC Championship against the Chiefs, we looked atrocious. I'm just going to call it what it is. Brent, good evening. Thank you for joining. Z Kokage, good evening. Lead Commander, thank you. Hey there. He said, my Commanders should have beat your Ravens and the Steelers. I don't know if you could have beaten my Ravens, but maybe an argument could be said, yes, I think you guys could have and should have beat the Steelers. But yeah, it was close. I'm telling you, I'm not sleeping on the Commanders this year. Not sleeping on them at all. Question from Equip Institute. Does the head coach listen to his coaching staff? That's the question. They have to see his blind spots. And that's a very good question. Thank you for asking that one. I'm going to go with no. John Harbaugh, from what I can see, This is just my perspective. I don't have any evidence to support this or to substantiate it, but this is just kind of my personal opinion. My opinion is no. I think he listens to himself and perhaps one or two people that are very, very close to him. He might take some advisement from them. But other than that, I don't really think he has an ear for it. I don't think he has an appetite for it either. I don't think he is one who is open to change and willing to change. And that would come from like, hey, I need to see more in-game adjustments when we are playing. And when plan A isn't working, what are you doing as a head coach to ensure that we have an alternative plan that can work for us? So I really haven't seen that. So I'm going to lean with no, I don't think he is. That too is a problem. Dewan 100, good evening. Thank you for joining. An offense playing too many players and playing 65 and 77 out of position is holding back the defense. I think there's a lot of things that are holding back the defense. I'm sorry, holding back the offense. I said defense, my apologies. I think there are a lot of other reasons that the offense is being held back. I touched on it and I agreed to your point. Yes, that's another issue that I have with John Harbaugh is, do you put the best players on the field at any given moment that gives your team the best chance to succeed? And for me, the answer is no, he does not do that. To Dewan 100's point, he doesn't. We're willing to sit Ben Cleveland on the bench, knowing that the times that we have seen Ben Cleveland come in, when we have those Ben Cleveland sightings, we look much better, right? So good evening to Jose. Jose is one half of Lunch Break Hot Take. Please make sure that you go over and subscribe. He and his brother do a podcast, a live show every Wednesday night at 7:15 Eastern Standard Time, right here on these YouTube streets. You don't want to miss it because they not only cover football, where Jose talks all things Baltimore Ravens, his brother is a Panthers fan. They talk all sports. And so it's always a really good time, interesting conversation. So make sure you go over and subscribe. Also subscribe to the Rogue Pod too, because he gives you that really honest Baltimorean perspective on the state of the Ravens. No holds barred. And it's always, in my opinion, spot on. I see a couple of others. Robert, thank you for joining. Bill Belichick would have had this team ready. That's another issue. Do we think that John Harbaugh has this team prepared? That is something else I had in my notes. No. The lack of preparedness for games is evident, and it continues. It would be one thing if we saw some of these mistakes made early in the season, but then we started to see them improve. I would say, okay, let's give John Harbaugh some time. Let's see what he does, right? But here we are 3 quarters into the season, and we're still seeing these mistakes that we should not be seeing. Getting out coached, like Killicam said. Lack of preparedness, like Robert said. These are things that we as fans see. And so it's time to be honest, call it out for what it is. And it's a tough conversation to have. Tiger T 23, thank you for being here. I think I've seen you before. I believe I have. But if not, if you're new, if this is your first time, welcome. Lamar needs to pull a Willie Beam and call his own plays. Yeah, I think that there is an ability for him to audible. I do. There's an ability for him to do that. However, what I would need to see in order for us to win is for him to say, look, why is Derrick Henry sitting on the bench? I need him right now. Yet for pass blocking, we don't bring him in. Even if the play is not a run, we don't bring him into pass block. We keep McCary there. So these are just kind of questions that, were kind of swirling through my brain, and I wanted to talk with you. Alicia, good evening to you. Mike Vrabel would be better than Belichick. Okay. And please make sure to go over and check out Alicia Thomas's channel. You can click on her avatar, Alicia T Says, right here on YouTube. So many wonderful content creators here joining me tonight. Thank you. She is gearing up, right, for the launch of her podcast, first of the new year. And I'm so excited about it. Make sure you go over, click on her avatar. You can thank me later. Antonio Taylor, good evening. I would prefer Vrabel. He'd be a young Belichick. Either one. But I like Bill Belichick. That's me personally. But, we'll see what Vrabel can, I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. Yes. Last question before we get out of here, because I told someone earlier today, this was going to be a 15-minute stream. I was just going to share my thoughts about if the Ravens can kind of overcome the obvious, which is our head coach. And here we are 30 minutes later. See, we can talk about these Ravens for, all night. Just Tornado said, or wants to know, has John Harbaugh's long tenure with the Ravens reached its peak? It's time for fresh leadership to take Baltimore to the next. Is it time for fresh leadership to take Baltimore to the next level? Indeed. I was going to end there. You read my mind. That was going to be my end. But again, I appreciate John Harbaugh for what he's done for the team. And I just do, at this point, I think his time has run. I think it's time. It's not to say that he can't go on and do something else somewhere else, right? But in terms of the ceiling for him and this Ravens team, I think he's reached it. Now, can we win the Super Bowl again? For those who are just now tuning in, it will really have to be a Herculean effort, primarily on Lamar Jackson's back. He will have to put all of it on his back, shoulder the entire load in order for us to accomplish it. Absent that, I don't see it. I don't see it. Oh, Tora, no. Hendo said 2 hours. We don't listen to Hendo. Hendo will tell you 2 hour stream, but then when he goes on his stream, he doesn't want to stay 2 hours. He doesn't, but he wants other people like myself to stay on here for 2 hours. Antonio is talking to Optimus Prime. Optimus Prime. Oh, okay. I read his already. I was going to say, I missed your comment. Yes, I did. Vrabel will bring, I have a hard time saying that man's name. I'm just going to call him Mike. Mike will bring a toughness this team has lacked since Ray left. Indeed. Indeed. That's what we need. We need that toughness. And with John Harbaugh having players that are tough, like Ray Lewis, even most recently as a Marcus Peters, generally doesn't work. Typically, they don't stay. They're out the door pretty soon. The minute they start to speak up and try to take command of what they see is wrong, they're gone. They are gone. Just Torah said, Moses didn't cross into the promised land. The Ravens going to need a Joshua. They do. They need a Joshua to help them. They do. It cannot be all, like Florence said, it cannot be all Lamar Jackson. But time is running out. There's not a whole lot of games left in this season. We don't have games to lose. Currently, we're the 6th seed. And there's no reason for us to, believe that we're going to be any different, which is inconsistent, moving forward in these next few games. That is scary as a Ravens fan to think that we're in this place where we really should not have been, given the talent that we have. So, well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. Thank you for joining tonight. Thank you for sharing your perspective, right? Sometimes as a fan, it's not easy to have tough conversations, and this one wasn't. But you helped me and you made it a little easier, a little more manageable for me. Because sure, I want to get on here and I want to wave my pom-poms. I don't have them right now, but I want to get on here and I want to wave my pom-poms and just say, yes, our team is going to win. We are great. We're unstoppable and we're going all the way, right? I certainly can do that. But when reality sets in like it did against the Steelers, there you go. So let's see what we can do come Monday night. Speaking of, make sure you come back to this channel as well as Hendo's channel. You can watch on either platform, both on YouTube. On either channel, we will be simulcasting both we'll be live streaming the game on both of our channels on Monday night. We're doing the entire game, play by play, instant, immediate reaction. So you get what you get when you come by, but make sure you come by. It's bound to be a laugh. It's bound to be a good time. So watch the game with us, hang out, and then right after the game, Hendo and I will give a recap. Hopefully, we're able to get right, rebound, bounce back, and come back stronger this time. That's my hope. That's my prayer for our team. on Monday night against the Chargers. Chargers are a very good team, right? Very, very good team. So this will be a good test for us. Antonio Clark Art, we can win with this coaching if Lamar ignores the coaching and calls his own plays. Yeah, that's it. That's bottom line. That's about it. So, well, I appreciate you all. Go enjoy your Friday evening, and I will see you back very soon. Remember, stay encouraged, keep your heads up. Sometimes, I come on here and I try to give a word of positivity or encouragement because life is tough, right? So always believe in yourselves, stay true to who you are, and give yourself grace. And then when we watch the game on Monday night, it's okay for you to have to yell at the football team, yell at the screen, because I probably will do it a little bit on Monday night when our team irritates us, but that's okay. Let's band together, stay together, flock, and I will see you soon. Until next time, you take care, you stay safe, and always remember, even when we head over to LA to take on these Chargers and we don't know what we're going to get because our team is inconsistent, it's still go Ravens. God bless.